Hope you had yourself a fantastic weekend. It was nice to see all the sunshine here after a pretty cloudy winter. We've had a fair number of sunshiny days here and more to come. Mostly sunny skies expected here for today, tomorrow, and it looks like perhaps Wednesday as well. It's been cooler near Lake Michigan, and boy, you can expect that during the spring season. A high temperature yesterday, that should be, was Grand Rapids 53, and right at the Muskegon breakwater, that pier that kind of goes out into the water, high temperature there was just 40 degrees. So that's a 13-degree difference. And you'll see that here this week whenever we get that west or southwest wind coming in off the lake. I've seen it 20 degrees cooler beach as opposed to Grand Rapids, but inland around 131 and east, we should make it up to 60 degrees here come tomorrow afternoon. Yesterday, I pointed out some snow out in Arizona. Look at what happened. 16 inches of new snow at Flagstaff, Arizona. And nearby, near the town of Williams, they had one place with 28 inches of new snow. Down toward Phoenix, of course, down in the valley, they're not nearly as cold. In fact, temperatures this afternoon there made it up into the 70s. But from this system, Phoenix did get 0.4 of an inch of rain. And as it was raining, their temperature fell as low as 47 degrees. So that would be kind of cool for anybody that might be on vacation there. But they're grateful for any rain that they can get. It's been a dry winter across Arizona and Southern California. So let's take a look at what's ahead here for us. Warmer weather is expected here over the next several days. Temperatures today up around 60. Later in the week, Friday should be the warmest day when temperatures may approach 70 here. And again, it will be cooler near Lake Michigan. Dry weather is expected here for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then we have that chance for a shower or a thunderstorm here Friday afternoon through Saturday. And some of those storms could be on the hefty side here. So more on that coming up a little bit later on. Hey, I want to thank our sponsor, Complete Care Concierge. They've been with us here for the past couple of weeks. A fast, efficient, and affordable cleaning service serving all of West Michigan. They've got you covered. And boy, I tell you, this is the time of the year, Mich, when we do spring cleaning. So they can help you out with that. You don't have to do all of that by yourself.
And they can help you out whether you need a one-time clean or whether you need something on a repeated basis. If you're moving for your home, apartment, your office, whatever you need, let them do it. And they serve all of West Michigan. And I remember the first time that I used a cleaning service and walked back in, and they had done such a better job than I ever would have done myself. And it was such an emotional lift in a busy life. So Complete Care Concierge, 616-264-1397. And we thank you so much for being a sponsor of Bill, Steffen Weather. And we have a second sponsor.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. We'd like to thank Ace Handyman Services of Grand Rapids for coming on board with us. Thank you so much. And let's have a word from them.
When your home needs help, you might not know where to start. Why not ask Ace? We're always here to help with Ace Handyman Services. Our talented craftsmen handle everything from drywall and carpentry to doors and kitchens. We're the neighbors you trust to get the job done right. Let's get started. Book your handyman appointment today. Ace Handyman Services, bringing helpful to your home.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
I don't know if I told you this, Michelle, but Ace came and put our fence in the backyard. This is, of course, many years ago, but they did a superb job. The fence is still in the perfect condition after, golly, 50
there you
years
go.
before you were born.
And Terry said to tell you that he remembers the days when you wore the yellow jackets.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's for sure. Yeah. But
yeah, so thank you so much for our sponsors.
Come on board here with us.
Yeah.
Here's a look at our 72-hour snowfall map. We've shown this quite a bit here of late. And again, this is over a 3-day period, another atmospheric river coming into the Pacific Northwest. And that means in the Pacific Northwest, there'll be rain in the lower elevations, and the higher elevations, which is Mount Olympus there in the Olympic Peninsula and the Cascade Mountains, will see another boatload of snow. Little bit of snow left in the mountains of Arizona there, as you can see. That should be tapering off. And you can see some snow in New England, the Adirondacks, the Green Mountains of Vermont, the White Mountains of New Hampshire, and up into northern Maine. In Michigan, this is kind of interesting. There's still a chance for a few snowflakes off to the north. The white areas there are areas that won't see any snow at all, but there could be as much as a whopping dusting of snow across the Keweenaw, Porcupine Mountains over to around Tequamanon Falls. Really no significant snow here. It'd be too warm for that. When we get toward the weekend here, everything will be in the form of rain. So let's take a look at our forecast here for today. High temperature closing in on 60 degrees this afternoon, maybe 62 for Kalamazoo. And if you're right at Lake Michigan, temperatures there will likely hold in the 40s. A little bit cooler. Winds will be coming in off the water again out of the southwest, 10 to 15 miles an hour. It could get up close to the 15 miles an hour here. And humidity levels drop to around 50% with the dry air and the lack of rain. There will be a moderate fire danger across the area, so beware of that. Be very careful with smoking materials and any outdoor burning that you might do. Here's a look at some of the temperatures here for Monday. Readings up into the low 60s from Grand Rapids off to the south, inland areas, even up at Cadillac, 58. Traverse City can get a couple degrees warmer than Grand Rapids with a southwest wind. You get some downslope warming there, so 62 for them. And even up in the UP, temperatures could be approaching 50 here during the afternoon. Outlook for Tuesday calls for temperatures to cool off just a little bit here. Instead of 60, we'll be around 49 or 50. But it gets cold off to the north. Look at those chilly temperatures up there along the Lake Superior shoreline. They'll have a north wind coming off Lake Superior, and it may hold around or even a little bit below freezing for much of the day up there in the UP and far northern lower Michigan. Warmest day looks like Friday, and as you can see, temperatures approach 70 here in Grand Rapids if you're waiting for some warm air. Now, I want to caution you here. This is not spring for good. It's going to get cold again, and we are not done with snow. So even though you're seeing 70 degrees there, this is one of those roller coaster type of patterns where you get a warm week and then temperatures get colder again in the second week. And we normally do see some snow here during the month of April. I think we average about 1.5 to 2 inches, and that comes about every second or third year. Warmer weather expected later on today, up to 60. Then we're back to 50 here Tuesday and Wednesday, 60 degrees on Thursday, and then approaching 70 on Friday. And look at that thunderstorm. That's the first time I've used a thunderstorm symbol. There is a chance for some pretty good storms to roll in. All right, let's take a look right now at the long-range outlook. Temperatures here continue to be warm in the east and cool in the west. In the middle, that's where the battle zone is, and that's where it's going to be sitting up here this coming weekend, and that's when we might expect some severe weather. The severe weather outlook area, if we can take a look at that for the day on Friday, there's a large yellow area right there, and it's seldom that they issue these outlook areas 6-7 days in advance, but that's what they're doing here. So far, this is all to the southwest of us, but if you're traveling to Chicago or beyond to the south or west, keep in mind there's going to be some big thunderstorms Friday afternoon and Friday night. Some of those could be locally severe, and there is the possibility of some tornadoes. And Michelle, look at that. Look where that 15% is printed out. It's right over Birmingham, Alabama. So take care. And
yeah, it's pretty much a giant ring around where I live.
Yeah. You've already had a couple of big thunderstorms, right?
We have.
Yeah. We have not up here yet.
And it's so exciting to see the lightning bolt in the 5-day forecast.
Yes.
I'm glad we got that graphic.
True sign of spring coming up. And there will be more chances ahead, but I think our best chance would be Friday night. I doubt we have anything that redevelops on Saturday, but timing wise, but we'll have to check on that. I'll have more on that as we get a little bit closer, but there will definitely be a significant severe weather outbreak here across the mid-Mississippi Valley down into the south for Friday into Saturday.
My plan with the Alabama storms is I just wait it out. Mm-hmm. If I get out of work at 1:30 in the morning and there's a storm, I can leave at 2:30.
How quickly did they post a ground stop when they have something like that coming in?
Oh, at work? There's policies for lightning and how close it is. I don't know exactly what they are. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they keep us safe.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, airline travel, despite recently, airline travel is a very safe mode of transportation.
All right. Community things, other news. The Grand Rapids Rampage. The new old football team is making a comeback. So you'll remember we had the Grand Rapids Rampage, and they were arena football at the time. Mm-hmm. So it's not the same league, but they're using a lot of the same team names to form a new league. And what is that?
I have my Arena League football that I got from them. What would that have been, about 10, 15 years ago?
Wow.
I would think so, but yes, isn't that something?
Why did they give you
It
that?
needs a little air in it here. It's a little deflated. I got to talk to Tom Brady and see if we can take care of that, I think.
Did
But,
you do something? Did you like participate in a celebrity throwing competition or something?
Yeah, but way back when I was much younger, in fact, I think before you girls were born, I won the celebrity Grand Rapids punt, pass, and kick competition. You had to do a kick, you had to do a punt, and you had to do a throw, and you had to get it as close to the line going down the middle of a golf fairway as you possibly
Okay.
could. And,
Sure.
yeah, I got a great punt, and it landed about a yard away from the line. So that's how I got to win.
So
And
who
by the
did you
way,
defeat?
what team wouldn't want to have a red rhino logo like that? I think that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Mhm.
So who did you defeat in the punt, pass, and kick competition? Lee
Golly,
Vanamy, George
everybody else
Lessons.
was in the media at the time, including all the sports jocks, which was, but this would, if I did this 50 times, I would only win once. Okay. This was a fluke. It was not something that I was really good at, but I got my kick, my pass, and my punt were all very close to the line, and that's why I won.
Oh, good for you.
The distance you were from the line, and I mean there were a
Oh,
couple
I
of
see.
sports guys that got booming punts, but they were in the rough,
Right.
long ways away.
There was one time that I won a longest drive competition at a golf tournament.
Wow.
And the reason that happened was that it was a law enforcement fundraiser and there were only 7 women in the entire thing.
Wow. Okay. Well,
So I hit one very good shot once.
7. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my I won a sporting event story. That's the only one. Okay, so Grand Rapids Rampage are on their way back, and they did win the Arena Football League title. And I remember this happening, but I didn't remember what year it was. Do you remember what year they won their title?
I'll guess 2003.
Oh, very close. 2001.
2001. Okay. Yeah. I did. Yeah.
And I remember this
I remember
because
going to a couple of games, tell you the truth.
I was going to ask you that. So you went?
Yeah. It's
well, you got the football
different.
somehow.
I mean, you've only got 55 yards inside the Van Andel, and
oh yeah, that would be quite different.
I was afraid that you're gonna, hit the roof and whatnot. But yeah, I thought it was pretty exciting.
I remember the championship game because it was on TV, and I remember the commentators calling us the Green Bay Packers of arena football for our loyalty to the team. And somehow in 2001, that burned into my brain, and I still remember that was the commentary on watching them when I was watching them win their championship on TV.
Yeah, well, we wish them the best.
Yeah, so if any players or family are watching, congratulations on that title in 2001. We watched you win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, speaking of winning, the GLIAC Women's Basketball Conference Championship was today, and Grand Valley defeated Ferris 79-48 to win that title. That makes Grand Valley 32-2 overall and 19-1 in the GLIAC, and it is their 3rd conference title in a row. They've had many years of success with their women's basketball program. Dad, quiz question. What does GLIAC stand for? They're in the GLIAC, which is their conference.
Great Lakes Interscholastic Academic Athletic Conference.
Very close. I think it's Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference.
Intercollegiate, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
And they won by like over 30 points. I mean, that wasn't even close.
But to be fair, I had answers ahead of time because I developed this slide. So
yes.
So you're doing good.
That's all right.
And then Hillsdale, my school used to be in the GLIAC, and now they're not. What conference are they in now?
I really don't know the answer to that.
They are part of the GMAC, the Great Midwest Athletic Conference. They switched in 2017, and it is a conference made up entirely of private schools.
Yeah, and it's, it was kind of unfair to have Hillsdale with like 1,500 students playing against Grand Valley that's got like 25,000, including the commuters.
Yeah.
In fact, there's been talk before about about Grand Valley moving up into the MAC conference. I mean, if that's 10 or 15 years down the road.
I know there's a lot of things to consider, but they would be very competitive no matter what they do.
Yeah. I mean, and they've had great coaches, they've had great players. Jen DeBoer, Terry DeBoer's daughter, was.
Yeah. I was at the
I wonder
Hillsdale
why.
game where Hillsdale defeated Grand Valley in football. It happened once by
Mhm.
accident. I wasn't a student. It was after I'd graduated and I was back. And yeah, it was really exciting. We won once.
Yeah, neat. I mean, you were a cheerleader in for basketball and football, and I remember the basketball team had a girl by the name of Stephanie Hyde, and she was an amazing dribbler. She just dribbled around everybody, and she was a great rebounder. She was only like 5'4", 5'5", and often she was a leading rebounder on the team. So
Yes, you guys would drive the weather bug down to go to the games.
yes,
That was embarrassing.
we had fun with that. I remember stopping in Charlotte right as the movie got out and kind of doing my famous Richard Nixon thing with the victory signs, and Mom was driving, and I had poked my head out the roof of the VW van, and I was screaming at everybody, and they were screaming at the weather bug, and it was like a one-person parade.
If you're watching this and your parents embarrassed you when you were young, it happens to all of us.
Yes. Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay, so other random thing that I came across on the internet. The show is like half my Google search history. So this is a fun one. There is one state in the United States that does not have a seatbelt law for adults over the age of 18. What state is it? And I'm from the generation where we all grew up with seatbelt laws, so that was a normal thing. But they haven't really been around.
Vehicles didn't have them.
Yeah, they're somewhat new. And when they first came in, there was quite a lot of resistance, and people thought that it was the government limiting freedom. So states on their own developed over time, and the laws developed somewhat differently. In some states, law enforcement can stop you if they see you not wearing a seatbelt, and that's called primary enforcement. In other states, it's secondary enforcement, which means that they have to see you violating some other law in order to pull you over and also write you a ticket for that. So it's very interesting that there are state differences. And fun fact, in Texas, it's a misdemeanor, like most of their traffic offenses.
Interesting.
But in one state, which is not Texas, there is no law for adults over the age of 18 to have to wear a seatbelt. What's your best guess, Dad?
I would guess Alaska.
I will give you a hint. It's not Alaska. It is a state that you and I have been to together.
Montana.
No. Wrong side of the country.
Wrong side of the country. Vermont.
Close. There you go. New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Yeah, live free and die young, I guess.
If you're not wearing your
That's very
seatbelt.
interesting. My father, your grandfather, was an engineer, and he was very big on seatbelts. He thought that was a neat new invention, and
Yeah, the
have at it.
statistics are remarkable. The traffic fatality rates for seatbelts versus not. Yep, seatbelts. So yes, it is live free or die young, but if you're not wearing your seatbelt, then.
Interesting.
So then that got me wondering what Michigan's seatbelt law is, and there it is. And the law is that everyone under 16 has to wear a seatbelt regardless of where they're seated in the vehicle, and everyone in the front seat. So Michigan does not require adults in the back seat to wear a seatbelt, which I did not know. That really surprised me.
I'm trying.
I know.
I'm sure there was a time somewhere where I didn't have a seatbelt on in the middle of the back seat, but I can't remember it. I always do seatbelt. I do seatbelts before I turn the car on.
I remember when I was little riding in the front seat with one of you on either side, and I was in that little seat in the middle. In no car seat whatsoever. I don't know how we all survived the 80s.
We had 3 kids in 3 years, so we were car seat city.
And seatbelt use declined slightly during COVID, and that really surprised me because usually in periods of uncertainty and economic downturn, criminal behavior actually decreases. You would think that it would increase, but it actually decreases because people are not as willing to take risks. But seatbelt use actually declined nationwide slightly during COVID.
Very interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So New Hampshire. Okay. So, wow.
I would be terrified to ever be in a car without a seatbelt.
Yes, it's obvious that it saves lives. So I can't imagine why you wouldn't want to do it. But
I'm the one that buckles up in the hotel shuttle. If Dan is listening to this, he's nodding his head somewhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we do. Wow. Are we done?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, let's thank everybody for climbing on board. Enjoy the sunshine today and tomorrow. Great spring weather out there to tackle some of those yard work things that you have to do. But keep in mind, it's not spring for good, and we'll see snowflakes again here before the month is over.